Good morning. Welcome back. If you're new here, thank you for stopping by. I make a lot of random videos about mental health, baking, getting outside, and just learning to be a human. So, I'll get right into it. Today's video is kind of a bit casual, but I wanted to take a step back and just kind of go through what's really been on my heart recently, what's been on my mind, and just kind of have like a sit down chat almost with a lot of different topics. A few of the things I wanted to talk about today were finishing therapy, my relapse prevention plan and an easy way that you can make one too, food anxiety and body image, working again and how it's been trying to create a new routine and basically learn how to function. And it has been a time. So if you want to listen to that, / if any of these topics interest you, stay tuned. I'll probably have some timestamps down below. If you wanted to jump into a specific topic, you can check that out there. Let's just get right into it. Go grab a warm cup of something. I don't know, maybe tea, maybe water, maybe you're just into water, totally cool. I have some coffee here. It's quite cold today, / not that cold. It's only -1, but we're approaching winter. So I am just all into the warm drinks. And right now, just gonna have some coffee with this chat. Let's just jump right into it. Finishing therapy. Didn't really think I would see that day, to be honest. And when I started, like in April, I was a different person. Like, I was a wreck. I left work over a year ago for what I would say was like a mixture of like a mental breakdown, as well as me just like not taking care of myself for so many consecutive years that it just like all hit me at once. And I finally had to address it because I didn't for so long. Like, I just kept masking all of my symptoms, like everything I was feeling, I just didn't feel, like I just covered it up. So I think that once I finally started addressing stuff and went through prolonged exposure therapy, it was rough for a few months, like hell. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy, and I honestly did not think I would get through it. And I still have days when I have those thoughts, and I know it's probably going to be pretty consistent, and I have dealt with this before. I don't want to die, but I don't want to feel this pain anymore. And I have dealt with that for as long as I can remember. Like, 14, I was diagnosed with major depressive disorder. So this has been an ongoing battle. But major depressive disorder is a common kind of pre-diagnosis for PTSD or complex PTSD. They often get like kind of mixed up, as well as borderline personality disorder. So that's, yeah, it all comes out later, you know. But now I got through therapy. I completed therapy, and my therapist was like, no, like I think you're doing pretty good. And I honestly am terrified, and I didn't think I was ready, and I told her that, but she says that's pretty common. So we're gonna go with it. And my last session was last week. So she has officially closed my file, but I have 3 months to kind of reach out if shit hits the fan, or if I can't cope, or like stuff like that, and she'll still help me out, or like put me to someone who can help me out. So that's kind of comforting while I push through this. But one thing that was really helpful was we actually created a relapse prevention plan. And this was kind of eye-opening to see. So we made it based on a rating scale, and we just started from like 1 to 10. So 10 was my worst and 1 was my best. And like 10 is me, I'm not talking to anyone, I'm not leaving the house, I'm not eating, I'm drinking excessively, I'm smoking. Like, I am not managing my feelings or taking care of myself. I'm isolating myself from the world, and that's like my worst point. And right now I would say I'm about like a 3 or a 4, so I'm like closer to doing better than worse right now. But I still dip into like the 5 kind of, and then 6 is where I'm like, ooh, all right, take a step back, like you need to work on your things again. And that happens when I stop journaling, I stop eating breakfast. Yeah, I end up getting very overwhelmed by decisions, and then I just don't make any. And at that point I kind of need to take a step back and be like, all right, reach out to a friend, Erika, just like set up a FaceTime, make a meal. Like, I have to literally just sit down and be like, you deserve to eat a meal, so make it. And that is something that I need to push myself to do, which sounds weird to people who aren't in this or haven't experienced it. But yeah, that's where I'm at. And to keep myself above and into the 3, and hopefully get to 2 and 1 maybe one day, and like be feeling consistently good, I think I need to continue journaling every day and force myself to exercise every day. And that's been a hard one because I end up like, I work on my feet for 10 hours if I work, so I'm like, I don't need to work out, like I just worked out. But it's very different because it's like I'm working, I'm stressed, my heart rate's not going, like I'm not working out, I'm just standing. So it's like my muscles are sore, but I'm not doing anything really for my heart or my mental health. So that's something I really need to work on, and I think it's going to be a big part of keeping me like above my baseline, I guess. And yeah, it's really easy to make your own relapse prevention plan. I'll put a picture of like mine and what it looks like here, if you want to see an example. And it just kind of like gives me somewhere to work from and like lets me monitor my symptoms a bit more. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. You know how mental health is, but it's there. So yeah, finishing therapy, weird. Still quite an anxious being, so still working on that. But it's getting better, and I think working has really helped. So I'll jump into that next. Working and adjusting my routine has been a time. Before, I was used to just being home like literally constantly, and then if me and my partner had any plans, that was what I had to like work up to doing. And then I would just like focus on house stuff, like doing laundry and making sure the house was clean and like cooking meals. And then once I started working again, all of that kind of fell like down, so I stopped cooking as much. I was just exhausted, so I was just like crying consistently, which sucks for me and for anyone around. So really been trying to work on that. At first I was just like getting home from a 10-hour shift and just like immediately going to clean everything in the house. Like I was just like not stopping and being like, oh, I could do that, oh, I could do that, oh, I could do that, and like just overwhelming myself over stuff I didn't need to freak out about, when it's like it could wait till I ate and took a shower and like gave myself an hour to chill. So I'm trying to put boundaries in place to keep myself okay while I'm working, because yeah, my schedule's really weird. I end up working like 30 to 35 hours, but in 3 shifts usually. So my week is done, but I'm like dead. Like my legs hurt so much right now, but I love it. Like I don't feel like I'm working when I'm there, but then when I come home, I'm like, hello. You might be able to see, I tried to cover up the bags today, but they're still shining through, but that's okay. I'm tired, I'm working, I'm happy, relatively speaking. But adjusting to the routine, let's get back to that. I've started to realize what I need to do to keep myself on track, and that I will have to say no to some things to make sure that I'm in a good place for work and for feeling good at home, and just being like feeling like a good person, like feeling positive and happy in my day and not like working myself to death. So like today is my day off, but like this stuff really energizes me. So like I've been having a great morning, and I've just been doing stuff that I want to do. So I don't feel like, I don't know, it feels a bit different than say like me just going like, okay, I need to clean the kitchen, I need to mop the floors. And like that's what I would have done like when I first started working. That's how I was using my days off. But now I'm like, okay, nope, we got the weekend, me and my partner will both be off, we're gonna clean together, and that's what we've been doing. And it's just been a really big like help. Or even just putting it to like one solid day, and then I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna clean. Slowly but surely we'll get this done. And then it gets done. But I've also realized that if I'm gonna eat and make sure it's like actually good food, I need to prep it the days that I don't work, because I'm baking and prepping food all day. So like when I get home, I don't want to do dishes and like cook more. That's like the last thing I want to do. But usually the next day I'm like, yeah, let's do it again. So on the days off, I've kind of realized I need to plan ahead a little bit, cook some meals, stock the fridge with some healthy food, and then I'm a lot more likely to eat after work. And that sounds kind of weird for some people, but this will just move us right into the next like topic I wanted to talk about. Food anxiety and self-image. So food anxiety has been something I have struggled with for quite a few years now, and I haven't really addressed it or even like said it out loud until probably the last year. My self-image has always been kind of a problem through like my life, I guess. And food anxiety has kind of come along with it. And that's been both because of my IBS and my stomach problems. I don't know how to describe it, but this like anxiety around food seems to have stemmed from kind of this fear of like food hurting me and me being like, okay, nothing works. Like there was a point when I literally couldn't eat anything without being in pain. So I just started avoiding things. And then it's like if I was at work, I wouldn't eat because I knew it would hurt my stomach. And then if I had somewhere to go, I wouldn't eat because it would hurt my stomach. And now I've started to address my stomach problems, and they're not as bad. And now I still struggle immensely with eating, which is super weird. And God, it sucks. And I'm trying to work through that and like deal with anxiety around food. And I feel like addressing it and like saying out loud like how irrational some parts of it has kind of helped. But let me know, does anyone else deal with like weird food anxiety or like, yeah, stuff like that? It's not just me, because I've definitely seen it before, but like you're not alone if you're watching this and you also struggle. But yeah, self-image. I've really been trying to work on that, and I guess my overall values and my opinion on myself. I think for a while I was focusing on what others' opinions were about me, and I let that affect how I dressed, how I acted, how I lived my life. And since I've realized that, I've really started to change and kind of come out of that. For a period of time, it was really uncomfortable to like express myself, and it still is. Like I'm still working through that. But I'm trying to become confident in the fact that I can have an opinion and I can be me, and I can choose to like wear a shirt if I want to wear a shirt, or like wear fun socks if I want to wear fun socks. Like I don't have to fit into the idea of what I should look like, I guess I'm trying to say. Like I think before my values were very stuck in like, oh my God, people are just looking at me for like my outward appearance, like that's what they value. And I think that was letting me like judge others. Like I compared myself to them. Like if someone like looked nicer than me, I was like, oh God, like they're a better person. Like, ah, God, I suck. And it was like, that's not true. Like them being a beautiful person doesn't take away from me having beauty, or like them having a great sense of style doesn't take away from me having my own great sense of style, and like things like that. I was comparing myself to those around me and letting it affect everything I did. And oh my God, it sucks. It sucks to look back on that and realize it, and realize what I had been doing for so long and that I wasn't being myself. And I am trying to come out of that and be my own person and learn what my values are and what I care about. And it has slowly started to improve my overall self-image and self-confidence, I guess, because I don't think I'm measuring my worth as much on my outward appearance, which has been a really weird but long battle. And I'll explain more. I have a blog post where I kind of just like wrote all my feelings out. If you feel like reading that in more depth, you can check that out below. I won't go too more in depth because some people get really bored with this stuff. But yeah, that is what I wanted to talk about. So it doesn't really matter. Like if going back, see, I do this a lot. I'm like, oh, no one wants to hear me talk. I'll just stop. And that's what I'm trying to stop doing. So I digress. Let's get back to the video. See, we are all learning. We are all flawed. Well, okay. Yeah. Next topic, I guess, is managing mental health, which kind of, I guess, goes back to some of the other topics I was talking about, like finishing therapy and just like learning a new routine for work. I'm having to kind of adjust what my priorities are and choose things that energize me instead of bring me down. And I'm really learning that sometimes you have to say no to things that bring your positivity down. Like sometimes you really just have no more room for that negativity, and that's okay. Like I find I've been going to like Facebook a lot, and just like I find myself scrolling. So I deleted Instagram because that was happening there. And it just makes me feel really bad about myself. It makes me feel like really bad about the world and the people around me, and like not the people around me, but like the things going on. And it just makes me so upset. And it's this mob mentality that we're feeding off of, it seems. And like people are virtue signaling but not doing anything about the cause. And I feel like that's what these platforms have become, just a way for people to be like, I'm better than you, I care more about this than you, blah, blah. But like none of them are doing anything about it. This thing, these things get me really fired up, like virtue signaling, cancel culture, mob mentality, like all of these. Where's the world going? To a horrible place. Like if we cannot express our opinions and have a place to learn and grow, we're not going to go anywhere. And what I've learned is that people are ignorant until they are aware of it. And a lot of times people are aware of the things that they've experienced, but they kind of have blinders around to some of the other things that may not have affected them yet. And then once they do, they kind of care about it a bit more. And yes, that's a problem with the world. Not everyone has a huge amount of empathy to go around. But I think we need more of it. And I think right now we need less of like, I'm not going to be your friend if you disagree with me, but more of like, okay, like I would like to hear more about why you think this, and like maybe we can talk about this in more detail and like discuss it, not just like block this person and be like, you're a horrible human being, like F you. Why is it going to help anyone to belittle this person for what they think? They might not have any idea the information you have, and you could just politely take 5 minutes to explain yourself or have them explain themselves, and you might both learn something. like learning from both sides, all three sides, really, all the sides, everywhere, is not a bad thing. Like, absorbing others' opinions and learning from people is good, and that's how we grow. And I feel like we're moving in like the opposite direction right now, and I'm quite scared. I'm like, even this morning I like opened up Facebook and I could just like feel my anxiety like building. I just like shut off my phone. I was like, I have to go, I can't do this anymore. And like, that's what keeps happening. And I think that's why I've like started to isolate myself a lot from like the social norms, like Instagram, or like, yeah, I don't know, the fads, TikTok, whatever. I don't know. I don't know them. And it's like, it's kind of nice having a bit more space in my brain to think. And I think that's, yeah, I don't know if that's where I was going properly, but basically the negativity going around is really going to affect you whether you know it or not. But when you take a step back from all of that negativity, it can kind of really come to light, like how much it's affecting you. Like once you start to shift your mindset or be like, okay, all right, no, like maybe they don't know, maybe they haven't experienced this, like I don't know what they went through, or like if someone's rude to you, sorry, my printer, like these are really hard like experiences to kind of learn from or like go through. But if someone insults you, or if someone like belittles you on an accomplishment in a weird way, or like, I don't know, comments on something you're doing in a negative way, it might just be because they're self-conscious or aware of the way they do that and think that they're doing it wrong. And sorry, that is often what I've experienced as well. I notice when I'm being the most negative and the most like jealous and just like downright like hateful almost, or like mean, and like I hate it. It's like a negative, spiteful energy that comes over me. And it's when I'm uncomfortable, or when I'm jealous, or when I think that I'm less than because someone is like good at something. But that shouldn't be the case. Like, just because someone is good at something doesn't take away our ability to do something. And the more I kind of learn and the more I kind of experience life, the more that's coming to life. Like, we're the ones that have to live with ourselves, and we're the ones that we should be trying to make happy. And of course, like, respect the people around you, and that's like kind of where I'm going, like kindness and compassion, but like doing things that make you happy. Like if wearing like a funky colored jacket is like your thing, go for it. That's not hurting anyone. Like things like that. But like some people get very, I don't know how to say that. But yeah, trying to shift your mindset into more of a positive mentality, I guess. And I'm trying to look at other people in a way of empathy and kindness instead of comparing myself to others and being like, no, we're all dealing with stuff. Like, we're all dealing with shit. We all want to be happy. No one wants to suffer. And I think that's a big part, learning that in meditation as well. Like the guided meditations, that literally everyone is trying. Like, everyone is overwhelmed, everyone is struggling, and if we can just spread a little bit of kindness around, like even when we're kind of struggling, it could go a long way. I don't know, I feel like I've gotten kind of off track, but thank you so much for watching. These videos are kind of irregular right now. I'm hoping to get a bit more onto a schedule. I don't have my work schedule yet for November, so I'm kind of just like waiting to plan things out a bit. But I really appreciate you watching this all the way through. If you've made it here, even if you've watched any of it at all, thank you. I see you. I appreciate you. I just really enjoy doing this, and it like it really excites me and motivates me, and it like pushes my creativity a little bit to like come up with these ideas and I guess share, like I want to share about the struggles I've been through in an attempt to help anyone. Like if I can help either someone go through what I've gone through or prevent someone else from experiencing something similar, then amazing. Or if you just are like, wow, this made my like day a little bit less shitty, or like if I made you laugh, that is just my goal. So before I start crying, because I am that type of person, I am going to go. Thank you so much for watching. I love you all. See you next time.